Hi everybody, I'm Tracy from Tracy's Art and Craft. I hope you're all well today. I have been away a bit and I do have a video coming out explaining that, but today we're just going to be focused on using our bits and pieces from beebeecraft. So if you haven't seen the unboxing, that will be linked just up there in the corner there somewhere. Also, they have given me a little code for you guys. If you want to spend $40 on there, you can get $5 off using my code Tracy with an E, Tracy 5. I'll put that down here somewhere so that you can see that. Also, if you have more than 100 subscribers to your channel, you could join in beebeecraft's YouTube program and test out some of their products. They do more than just beads and findings. They do also do various craft stuff. Do go look at their website and you'll see all the bits and pieces. They send worldwide, and yeah, I haven't had no problem with them yet. So there are products I'm actually going to be buying from them as well. So not just these things that I've been given for free, there are products I'm going to be buying from them soon. So yeah, do go check those out. I am just going to get on now. I'm going to be showing you the stamps and how I'm going to be using them, or how I wanted to use them when I saw them, just to give you some ideas. So first of all, I'm going to be using these ticket stamps. So as you can see, I've already used them. Some of them are a little bit grubby with my stays on, and I have already used them. And they turned out absolutely wonderful. I'm just going to see if I can find the little packet that I have full of my tickets. So here are just a few of the ones that I have already printed off myself. Is this one? Yeah. So, and all I've done is I've used just scrap paper. So that's what I'm going to do again today. I do have lots of little bits and pieces of scrap here, just showing you what sort of different style tickets you can get just by using your scrap pieces. So I'll pop these tickets just out the way for a second. Also, the great thing about this is when you're making your own stamps, you can make them any colour you want. So I'm just going to pull in a couple of different colours. And we can just have a look at what they look like when we do different colours. So there we go. And I need one of my print and blocks. 1 second, I have left my print and block. Let me just go get that. There we go. So I've brought over my print and block. It is a little bit messy. It is covered in stays on. But let's have a look at what tickets we'll do first. Let's do some smaller ones first. We do have some postage stamp pieces as well, which is lovely. I really do love these. I think we'll do this one. This is my favourite one out of all of them, actually. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. Just something about it when it prints off. I just really love it. So what I tend to do is just get my piece of paper and just literally take my scraps and stamp straight on them. And they just print off really, really clearly. So there's a few just to do on that one. And just like any other printable or anything like that, all I do is I cut them just like I would any of my normal printables. I like to leave a little border. Because tickets usually do have a little border, don't they, with all their printed stuff on. I'll show you about what I do about that rip. So sometimes you can leave that rip if you wanted to. Which I have on a lot of them. But say you didn't want to, you could also tear it. So you could also come down and tear this little piece, and it looks like the ticket's been used. If you go on to actually distress it as well, you know, it'll look like the ticket's been used. So if you want to have that sort of vintagey look, or if you want one of the more solid looks, here's another one that I've done. I have just left it how it is, and I don't know, I quite like that little tear that's on there, but leaving it as the picture. But of course you can tear it out too, so that's entirely up to you. So let's just cut these last few out. The good thing about this is though, because it's not a printable, because you're making it yourself, you can do any colour you want, you can print it onto any paper you want, it can fit in with your current design. So it can fit in with your colour theme, it can tie in papers together, pages together. And here all I'm using is scraps, so this is costing me only what I paid for the stamps and a little bit of the ink, because the ink just lasts for ages. I mean, when it comes to looking after these silicone stamps, I highly recommend keeping them in a cool place. The sun, even if it's not direct, the heat from the sun or heat from other things does warp them, does make them go sort of gummy, sticky. So a cool unlit place. I keep mine in a box. You also want to keep the cellophane on them, the acetate, sorry. When you keep this acetate on them, it stops them sticking to other stamps, because when they do touch and they stick, eventually they do go gummy, so you do need to look after them. But they can last you ages. I've still got some silicone stamps that have lasted me since that have lasted me since probably 2 or 3 years ago. I've still got them, so they can last you a long time if you look after them. I'm not always the greatest at looking after my things, but I have got a few that have lasted me. So I'm going to try this stamp. I haven't tried this one yet. This is one that I haven't tried. I'm going to bring it over and I'm going to use it with my reds. This one is called, it's Memento, it's called Rhubarb Stalk, but the writing's gone because I, you know, don't look after my things. Yeah, I have had so much fun. Like I say, I've already used a lot of these in my crafts. I was testing them out to see how they worked, and they're absolutely gorgeous. I love them. Another trick isn't always the pushing down hard. You don't necessarily have to push down so hard, but just give it a minute for the paper to soak in all that ink, and then you get a better print. And these are designed to have these gaps because they're designed to look sort of vintage. Let's print one more off. Just see how these look when we cut them out. There we go. So as you can see, very quickly you end up with a lot of ephemera to use. And these tickets can either be stuck down in part of the collages, or they can be used just in tuck spaces, in little pockets themselves. And the great thing is, out of all of this scrap paper, you can make absolutely loads, because all of this, I've got stamps that will fit all these tiny pieces. So just find the stamp that will fit. Go in with some ink. There we go. And you've got 4 more. I do think I absolutely love them. I've been wanting some ticket stamps for ages, so and it's such a great way to limit waste, it really is. So what I would normally do is I would normally stamp all these out, leaving no gaps on the paper. I'm just sort of filling it in constantly with other stamps. And then I would come to cut these out later on in the night. Just sort of sit there with a cup of tea, watching some TV, and just cut all these out. That's how I would normally do it, but obviously because I'm doing a video for you, I'm cutting them here and now. Just so you can see what they do look like once they're cut. When I've done a few, I will spread them all out for you guys so you can see what they look like. Let's grab another stamp. Some of these back so I don't mess them up. Let's do this one. Let's try it in the green. Oh, they come out so lovely in the colours. And now out of all that paper that I would have thrown away, we now have lots of tickets to use, lots of ephemera. So that's why I always say keep your scraps. They are, you know, really good source of crafting materials. Let's just do a few more in some different colours again. So I'm going to do a few more of these ones in the green because I really like that. Being from the UK myself, we don't necessarily see the fascination with London. I don't live too far from it. I'm quite close to London, and honestly I take my kids just to say they've been once or twice, but you know, honestly I can't see the fascination with London myself. They have got some beautiful Gothic buildings, but so has a lot of places, including where I live, so I don't necessarily see the fascination in it, but each to their own. I guess I can see why people around the world would. It's quite a romantic place. Will you squeeze on here? I think you will. Oh, I like it in the brown. I want to go off screen. I think I'll just show you a way that I use them once I've printed them as well. Might as well have a little collage, mightn't we? Let's see how these ones turned out, shall we? I want to cut these ones closer because of the close edges already. There we go. Yeah, I love these. So let's put all this aside just for a second and let's make up a little collage. Let's grab ourselves out a bit of card. So I think what I'll make is, I'll make a tag. Right. I'm just going to collage up with the background. So the first thing you want to do is add on some plainer pieces to the backgrounds. And that's the first step of a collage. So just trying to find my glue. Have this somewhere. There we go. So let's just pop that down. Let's find another piece that we like. Sorry, gone quiet. I'm concentrating on gluing. As you do. So I think at the top I would like just a little bit of this polka dot one. Okay. Let's get all these papers out of the way. What I do want is I just want to take off this angle a little bit so that it matches in with the rest of the borders. There we go. So that's our background. Now onto the next part, which would be to put in some imagery. This will be where you use your labels, your stamps, things like that. So I'm going to use a couple of postage stamps as well. I am currently doing something that's slightly purple themed, so I'm just going to add a postage stamp to the bottom and then we'll get on putting our tickets on. There we go. Let's have a Paris up the top here. I'm not inking any of these. You can do if you want to make it look a bit more vintagey or anything like that. I'm quite happy with the sort of clean look that's coming out. Then I think I'm going to pop this one just down here, like so. Sorry, I just had to pause you guys. I really needed to sneeze. And then I'm just going to pull out one of my ladies if I can find one. Here they are. A couple of my vintage ladies there. I'm just going to ink her up because of all the white that's on her. I don't want it to be quite so stark. And it just pulls in the colour of her into the background a little bit, because the colour of hers also slightly greeny. There we go. Let's just get this little tip of her feather as well again. There, that's much better. So for this, I'm just going to pull out my tacky glue. Let's see if I can get this down the bottle. I'm right at the end of the bottle at the moment. And there we go. So that just shows you a little bit of how we can use our scraps. I'm thinking just put this on as a little tab at the top. Just get my tiny attacher. There we go. Very cute. So it really adds a little bit something when you add a few tags on the back of things. And that's why I do love tags and labels and whatnot. So tickets and labels. So there we go. And you've got a lovely writing card there. So that's that idea. I'm just going to pop all of these away, and then I'm going to pull out the very next idea that I have to use the other stamps that I was gifted. Let me just show you that. So I brought over some hand dyed papers. So this one is avocado dyed, this one is tea dyed. You probably can't tell the difference. I did make them both quite weak. And what we're going to do is we're going to be making our own background pages, making our own decorated signature pages, because not all of us have a printer, so not all of us can do all the printed digitals like I do. Scrapbook paper is very expensive, so the whole part of junk journaling is making things as cheap as possible. And one of those ways is making the most out of your supplies. So this is just normal copy paper that's been hand dyed, nothing special about it at all whatsoever, just normal copy paper. I used avocado dyeing for this one. Loads of tutorials all over YouTube, do go check all those out. And on this one I used just normal tea to dye it with. So what you want is, I think Americans call that black tea. We call it just tea. It's just our regular tea. Green tea and herbal teas are separate to our normal tea. So I'm just giving it a little squash out because it is a little bit creased. You can iron your papers before you do this if you wish. So the other lovely stamps that I've got are these. I have tested them, I have had a go. This one lost its sticky, and that is because, I don't know if you can see how dirty that is. My dog got hold of it and took it to his bed and decided that was his new toy. So that has lost its sticky. You may be able to get that back with a little bit of dish soap and things. I haven't tried. That one we're just going to set aside and not use that right now because that is covered in his fur, bless him. You know, if you've got a pet, you know what I'm talking about. They are a nightmare. You love them, you adore them, but oh, they're a pain. So, and what I love about these is they're not the complete design. So we haven't got the, this one's almost complete, but it's got lines going across it. I don't know if you can see those lines. If I bring them up a bit closer, they've got sort of lines going across them. I love this because I do mixed media. So we don't use whole designs, we use part. So I'm going to pull out one of my colours again. Let's go for a purple. We'll go for two different purples because I am actually doing, I'm using purple at the moment and I could use this paper in something. So, and I think the first one I'm going to try out is this one down here. I'm just going to stick it onto my pad. Now I don't usually, when they lose their stick, I do tend to use them without the stick. I do prefer when they lose it, but you can recover the stick just by spraying on some removable adhesive. But I do like it without. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the ink and saturate the stamp. This is the first time this one's been stamped. I haven't tried this one yet. Sometimes when they're newly stamped, they don't stamp so well. You have to give them a little bit of a sandpaper. But when I tried a couple of these, they did work really well. So the ones that are black is where I've used stays on, and I don't clean off my stays on. So I'm going to go in with some of these purples. And the good thing about this is all you need is basic supplies. I'm just going to do it in all different directions, nothing uniformed. You can put on as much or as little as you want as well, which is great about this sort of thing. Yeah, let's go right in the corner here, because you can control what you want your page to look like, how heavily decorated you want it to be. I think I'm going to stop here at this one. I need some paper underneath this. What do I have? What do I have? Oh, grab some book page. Sorry guys, I don't want to get it on my cut mat because I have made my cut mat filthy as it is. There we go, that's better. There we are, so I'm just going to take that one off. And pull in a slightly different one. I'm going to go in with the dark colour again. I'm going to come off the edge, just down the bottom here. If you come off the edge, it gives a bit of a better look. Kind of looks like it was printed this way or made this way. Just come off the edge down the bottom here. And maybe just a little bit over on this side. There we go. I'm so sorry, croaky throat. Now I'm going to take this slightly more flowery one here. And this is where I'm going to use the light one. Now the light one may not show up very well. Yeah, this May not show up very well, but we'll give it a go. See how it turns out. And I'm going to overlap all those other ones that we've just done. Oh no, that is very nice. Put a little bit here as well. And there we go. Instantly we have a signature page. How lovely is that? It looks, you know, like what you would get for scrapbook paper. You've got already the aged look going on from where you've hand dyed it. Yeah, I absolutely love that. If you wanted to pale this up a little bit, lighten it up, you could add a few spritz of gesso, you know, a few gosh, loads of gesso and things like that if you've got it. But I'm just trying to keep it simple for people who haven't got a lot of supplies, to show them that they can use their supplies to make their own items very, very cheaply and very quickly. See how quick I've done that one. And I'm a slow crafter, so you could probably do it quicker. So the next one I'm going to do, I'm going to use some browns. So I have my Memento, this one is Rich Cocoa. I have my Distress ink, this one is a Vintage Photo. And then I also have my Distress Oxide, which is Ground Espresso. So you're going to see that they can be quite similar as well, these stamps. So let's use a couple of different ones this time. The first one I want to go in first with light colours, and I'm going to use this really big one. And I'm going to show you can use just your hands because they're foam backed. Yeah, you can just go in with your hand. You don't have to push, you can just rub. And it's a completely different look. And I like doing this, especially because I do mixed media, to get my stamps to print out not perfect. Because I don't want them to come out perfect and things. There we go, so that gets that on, and that could be a background piece all by itself, just like that. And you could leave that to be just as it is. But I'm going to pull in some others. Now I'm going to go up a little bit, and I'm going to use my Rich Cocoa for this one. Now Rich Cocoa is one of the darkest, but it's just an ink, just like Distress ink. And I'm going to show you what the oxides can do in just a second. I just want to get a few edges with this stamp. These really are beautiful stamps, they're perfect for mixed media. So there's that one. I feel like I've got quite a lot of ink on my stamps. I'll just stamp it off onto some paper. There we go. Now let's choose one for the next step. Let's use this one. I am going to be using this with the oxide. And this one is the ground espresso. Can you see how close it looks with the rich cocoa? Very, very close in colour. And for us in the UK, Memento is cheaper than Tim Holtz. Now with this oxide, it is water reactive, so when you spray water on it, you get this really nice look. I'm going to give it a go. The only water I've got with me though is Amica water, which is another way I can show you that you can decorate your pages. So let me just grab that for a second. It's just up here next to my desk. So what I do is I take some water, I add in a few drops of PVA, and I add in some mica powder. And if every time you give it a shake, that mixes all that up, and the PVA helps the mica to adhere to the paper. Otherwise the mica does tend to rub off. And then if we just give, oh, I think this one might be blocked. I'm going to give it a few taps instead. Trying to get especially over the areas where I have put the Distress Oxide. There we go. And I'm just going to give that a little dry off. Just get my dryer. Sorry about the noise of this, it is a bit loud, but yeah, it won't take 2 seconds, just 1 second. I personally think that needs a little bit more water, I've got to be honest, but let me bring this up close to you. I don't know if you can see just here how it changes colour completely. It almost becomes like the vintage photo, but if we look over at the vintage photo, there's been no change of colour, but here it changes the colour. So because it's an oxide and it's got pigment, when water hits it, it pulls those pigments up to the surface and it changes its colour very slightly, so you can actually see the watermarks on there. I would normally, if I had my spray bottle working, I would normally put a lot more than that on, just because I think that needs more to get a more distorted look. Because I really like where it's distorted and things, but it does look really nice as it is. So I hope that gives you some ideas on how you can use your stamps to the best of their ability. Do go check out beebeecraft. They do have some wonderful supplies on there. You can find all of your beads and findings and things like that on there. But they also do loads of other craft things if you do go search through their website. I mean, it's really easy to navigate as well. It's one of the most easy ones of those types of sites to navigate through. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed yourselves today, and I will see you next time, and I will explain to you why I have been gone. All the details will be crafted down in the description box, easy enough for you to find, including the items that I'm using today. So please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Bye.